Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Yivik, and this is our ELA lesson for the week. And our goal today in this lesson is to use a book to research. One of our goals in an activity we're going to do next week and the week after is work on researching. We're going to use books and videos and maybe even interviewing people or walking around and observing to do research. So today I want to show you how to do that with a book. And I found a book. This book is on Epic. You can read it again after, but I'm going to read it to you and we're going to go through and we're going to talk about the main idea and the things the author's trying to teach us. So let's look at this book. It's called Do Frogs Drink Hot Chocolate? When it gets cold out, do animals turn up the heat? No! So how do they survive the chilly weather? Let's find out. Do frogs drink hot chocolate to keep warm? I don't think so. No! Some frogs don't even try and keep warm. The Alaskan wood frog turns into a frogsicle. It spends the winter with most of its body frozen. When the air warms up, the frog warms up too. Wow! Guess that means he's really freezing. Do penguins snuggle with a friend? Yes! In the winter, thousands of emperor penguins come together in a giant huddle. It's warm in the middle, but cold on the outside. So what do? The penguin shuffle. Taking small steps, they slowly change places. That way they all get a turn in the middle. Do butterflies sunbathe? Yes. Butterflies can't fly if they're cold, and they can't make their own heat. So what do? They catch some rays. If it's cold, a butterfly will sit on a rock or a log and stretch its wings. When the sun warms up its flight muscle, then the sun warms up its flight muscles. Do foxes wear earmuffs? No. Arctic foxes have small furry ears. The fur helps, but so does the size. Ears stick out into the cold air. A fox's body can lose heat that way. Smaller ears don't stick out as much as big ears, so they lose less heat. Do turtles jump up and down to keep warm? Gosh, Wesley, is that what your new trampoline looks like? No. Many turtles will burrow into the mud and dead leaves at the bottom of the pond. The water there is cold, but it never freezes. It usually stays about 39 degrees Fahrenheit or 3.8 degrees Celsius. That's the perfect temperature for turtles who like to snooze while they wait for spring. Do polar bears build homes? Yes. Pregnant polar bears build dens, but not with wood and hammers. Instead, a mama bear uses her sharp claws to dig out a cave in the snow. When it's finished, she crawls inside to have her babies. The den keeps them safe and warm until spring. Do whales wear snowsuits? No. Whales have blubber under their skin. This layer of fat keeps their body heat in and the cold out. Whale blubber can be up to 12 inches, 30 centimeters thick. That's like this big. It also stores energy so whales can keep going a long time without eating. Do squirrels curl up under blankets? Yes, sort of. Squirrels have built-in blankets. When it's cold out, they wrap their long bushy tails around themselves so their body heat won't escape. And that's not all. As the temperature drops, less blood flows into their tails. Instead, it stays in their body to keep them warm. Do monkeys take hot baths to keep warm? Yes. Japanese macaques love to take warm baths. There are places in Japan where hot water bubbles up naturally from the ground to form pools. After playing in the snow, the monkeys will jump into these hot pools to warm up. Do tuatara sit by a campfire? No. Tuataras' bodies can't make heat, but birds' bodies can. So what does a tuatara do? It has a sleepover with a little bird called a fairy prion. The heat from the bird helps keep the tuatara from getting too chilly overnight. Do honeybees use teamwork? Yes. In the winter, honeybees form a cluster around the queen bee. Then they shiver together. By vibrating their wing muscles, they raise the air temperature in the hive. This keeps the queen toasty warm. How do bees have energy for all this shivering? They eat honey. Do birds fly south? Yes and no. In winter, some birds fly south in search of food and warmth. Other birds survive wintry weather by eating as much as possible. This gives their bodies energy to keep warm. Feathers help too. When they're fluffed up, they trap warm air next to a bird's skin. Do guanacos wear leg warmers to keep warm? Yes, sort of. Guanacos have thick woolly coats, but there's very little fur on their legs. When it's cold outside, chilly guanacos lie down with their legs tucked under their bodies. This keeps them nice and warm. All of the animals in this book have special ways to survive the cold. But what do you do? What about you? What do you do to keep warm? All right, that is the end of our book. All right, we're going to work on this author's main purpose. Our job today is to identify the main purpose of what I read. We read a nonfiction book or passage. In fact, we just read Do Frogs Drink Hot Chocolate? I want you to think for a second. Did the author write this text to entertain, persuade, or inform? Entertain means to make us laugh, have some fun. Persuade. Persuade is to convince us of something, to try and convince us that we should like or not like or do something. Or just to inform, to tell us about how animals keep warm. I'll give you a second to think about that. I'm going to say C. I think it's inform. I think the author wrote this to tell us how animals keep warm. All right, let's look here. The main topic of this text. Oh, what was this book about? I'm going to start with using the question to answer the question. Main topic of this text was to tell the reader how different animals keep warm during the winter. Someone asked me, what is this book about? I would tell them it tells us, it teaches us. So we could actually say the main topic was to teach the reader how different animals keep warm. Now, 3 details. They gave us a lot of different details, a lot of different animals. We don't have to pick them up, but maybe we can pick 3. We could say some frogs don't keep warm. They actually freeze solid and thaw out in the spring. What else did we have? Tuataras, those lizards towards the end, use birds to stay warm. They have fairy prion birds sleep. I spelled it wrong. Let's fix it. On top of them to stay warm. And then we have lots of other choices. Okay, polar bear mothers build dens to keep themselves and their baby cubs warm in the winter. There were lots of other details. They gave us lots of other animals that we could have used, but I just picked those 3. Those were the 3 I remembered. Now, when you're doing this on your own and you're doing this week, please make sure you go back to the story. You can use the book, you can use the text, you can use the video. You can go back and forth as many times as you need in order to get those details. Okay? A couple of things I want to remind you. Capitals, periods, very, very important. And also using complete sentences. What is the main idea, main topic of the text? The main topic of the text was to teach. I'm using the question to answer the question. That good old UTQTATQ. I know, that's a lot of letters. Basically, it says use the question in your answer to the question. All right, my friends, that is author's main purpose. If we were going to write a report on how animals keep warm, we now have 3 details. We have some research on 3 different animals, and actually that book would give us a lot of research on a lot of different animals. All right, my friends, read carefully to identify that main topic and start researching.